Hey everybody, Taylor with Royal Gorge Anglers in Canyon City, Colorado, the oldest fly shop and fly fishing guide service and only Orvis endorsed outfitter on the Arkansas River Basin. Thanks so much for viewing today. It is St. Patrick's Day, March 17th, so I hope you get out and have a green beer and enjoy the festivities and perhaps get on the water this weekend. We've got some great weather on tap here starting Saturday and moving through next week. Really highs in the 50s from Sunday on, and should be some phenomenal fishing weather here next week especially. We've had a little bit of snow here the last 48 hours, some light snowfall on the lower Arkansas River Basin and some good snowfall at the headwater, which is much needed. We're still sitting at about 85% of average for our snowpack on the Arkansas River Basin, which is the lowest in the state of Colorado at this point in time. So all of this precipitation is very welcome, and hopefully we get a few more storms as we wrap up this kind of early spring season. Conditions are excellent on the Arkansas River Freestone at this point in time. About 350 CFS in Bighorn Sheep Canyon, a little bit less than that as you move up the upper basin, obviously, and about 400 CFS in Canyon City. Those are really ideal conditions, gin clear, clarity, and bug activity is really ramping up now. What we see in the middle of March is a huge uptick in blue-winged olive life cycle activity, which is a huge driver for productivity within our trout population. So not only do we have continued heavy activity within the stonefly nymph population, cranefly larvae, free swimming caddis larvae, things of that nature, but now we have that mayfly activity, of which billions and billions of those bugs in the Arkansas River Freestone, just prolific amount of blue-winged olives. And so when that really starts up, man, we're in spring fishing almost immediately. In the last 7 to 10 days, we've seen some excellent fishing, especially in Canyon City and Bighorn Sheep Canyon. Some much warmer conditions before this little snowstorm, and we'll return back to those conditions for the majority of next week. Looks great, highs in the 50s. And as we progress through the month of March, we'll have some little snowstorms here and there, things of that nature, little cool downs, but especially in the banana belt down here in Canyon City and up through Bighorn Sheep Canyon, very mild conditions typically. Your average day time highs are going to be in the mid to upper 50s, sometimes 60s, so very manageable and shirt sleeve weather for the most part in late March and especially in April. Man, we've got 70-degree days in April, of course, but we are truly now in that great spring window on the Arkansas River Freestone that is that March and April fishing that's world renowned on North America's longest gold medal fishery. So really looking forward to the next several months before runoff. And of course, just as a reminder, we typically don't see runoff conditions until late May and sometimes even early June. Every year is a little bit different, depends on weather in mid-May, and if it gets hot really quick, sometimes we start to see some snow melt in early to mid-May, but typically that heavy runoff happens in late May, early June. So we've truly got 2.5 great months ahead of us. Great spring fishing, dry fly fishing, nymphing, streamer fishing, you name it. Get out here to experience that and our phenomenal brown trout population and rainbows, of course. We've got a lot of fun fishing ahead of us. So I'd like to take a quick peek at some patterns that could help you out. Maybe some patterns that you're going to find in our guides boxes day in, day out over the course of the next month. or so. Just a little preview of some caddis patterns, of course, because we're only really a month away from that, folks. You know, like I said, that starts to happen in Canyon City in mid-April, and so we need to start, you know, thinking that direction. Fish are already eating free-swimming caddis larvae and case caddis larvae. You know, that case caddis is our Brachycentrus occidentalis, that caddis, that Mother's Day caddis, which is termed incorrectly. It's the tax day caddis here on the Arkansas River. So that case caddis is that bug that we will start to see hatch in mid-April and through, you know, into the month of May on this basin. So starting to prepare for that as well. But long story short, you know, some great days to be had here in the next week or so, and then things just continue to ramp up from there. It is a lot of fun as we move through the month of March and into April and then into May. Spring season is pretty hard to beat on the Arkansas River Freestone. So again, as we look at these bugs, some of these patterns, just understand that a variety of rigging techniques will be required of you to really be productive throughout the day. You may start nymphing, may move to a long dry dropper or dry double dropper system as the day progresses. May be fishing a single dry fly if you see a lot of blue-winged olives out there and fish keyed to them on the surface. You may be throwing a single BWO dry or a blue-winged olive and a blue-winged olive emerger, dry emerger system. And then, of course, keep in mind that once water temp hits about the mid-40s, we really start to see streamer activity ramp up as well. So I'm not talking small willy boogers, things of that nature. I'm talking larger doubles and articulated streamers and things of that nature. Fish are very opportunistic coming out of the winter season. So let's take a look at a few flies here, and hopefully this will be very helpful to you as you start to prepare for your days on the water. Let's take a quick peek here at some patterns that can help you be successful out there on the Arkansas River Freestone as we move through the month of March and into April, and even during that caddis fishing that is upcoming in late April, early May. Of course, you know, key components here in the next few weeks will be in the nymphing category. We are already starting to see, you know, some strong blue-winged olive life cycle activity, meaning nymph, emerger, and dry. And then we will preview here some caddis patterns. Fish are already starting to eat our caddis larvae here, but we'll begin to migrate to those emergers or caddis pupa as we move into mid-April. And then, of course, your caddis adults will be well into play at that point in time. And then our streamer category, like I said, what we're looking for there is, you know, mid 40 degree water temperature, and anything in the 50s is great as well. But fish will be very opportunistic on big streamers and leeches here as we move through the spring. So all of these patterns that I'm going to show you are available online at royalgorgeanglers.com, or of course in store here. And we do very much appreciate your support for the information that we lend out. Thanks so much there. But if you have any questions, feel free to holler at us or stop by the fly shop. We can help you with your day's flies, and that's what we're here for. So starting in the stonefly category, this is a lead fly in an indicator nymph rig or a point fly in a Euro nymphing rig, depending on what method you like to use. We've got a rubber leg tungsten stone in dark, and of course we've got dark and light to represent the various stages of the molt phases. And so basic concept there, if you haven't viewed any of our other informational videos on stonefly molt activity, is that these stoneflies right now as they're molting, will change color throughout the day. So they typically starting dark and ending up much lighter. Some of them, when they shed their exoskeleton completely, will be a pale tan color. So that's why we've got the different colorations, and we'll want to take advantage of that and be prepared with multiple colorations as we move through March and into April. So that darker representation here, tungsten rubber leg stone there. We've got the tease stone. That's one of our favorites in a lighter color. That's a really good one. A peacock rubber leg stone, or Pat's rubber leg, tied on a jig hook for you Euro nymphers, or great to use in an indicator rig as well. The 666 stone, this is my go-to for deep tail outs and heavier water. It's got that heavy cone on it. That thing is a absolute killer here. The crane fly larvae are very, very active right now, and so if you took a seine sample or pumped a fish, you would see a lot of crane flies, and they're big, folks. You know, this is a number 8 here, big epoxy crane fly larva. This is what's called an Amex. It's a Euro nymphing style fly, but again, you'll see kind of the tan colorations. We've got both tan and olive crane flies in the Arkansas Freestone right now, and this is a huge food source for our trout population. A couple of attractor flies that are great crossover flies, whether you're fishing them maybe as a crane fly or a caddis larva or a case caddis. This is our waltz worm, which is one of our true confidence flies. Blowtorch, another great confidence fly. So again, those can be used as lead flies in nymph rigs or point flies, and just good crossover patterns. This is our D-rib caddis larva, so free swimming caddis larva here. Another free swimming caddis larva, the roller caddis, one of our favorites, and you'll notice those are kind of greenish bodies. A case caddis, this is what's called a bread crust, and that's one of our favorites. That's Pat Dorsey's pattern. Another case caddis for the Brachycentrus occidentalis that will become very active, but fish are already starting to eat case caddis. This is feeding caddis, Ben Ferimsky's pattern. And then just as a preview, as we move into April, obviously these will become much more prevalent, and this is the emergent caddis, or caddis pupa. One's a nitro caddis here, and then Juan Ramirez's kryptonite caddis tied on a jig. These are two of our favorite caddis pupa for that subsurface kind of mid-water column fishing. Into the blue-winged olive nymph category, which our blue-winged olives are really beginning to kick on now, and this will be a huge piece of the equation over the course of the next month plus, really as we move through the spring. These are key players in your fly box. This is Juan Ramirez's Slim Shady split back version. This is a black 2-bit hooker here. This is a jigged panty dropper, one of my favorite patterns, and just nice and heavy, gets down. This is a jig Napoleon, what we call a fullback Napoleon. I love these blue-winged olive nymphs with silver beads too. That's a great way to mix it up. Moving into emerger crossover patterns. This is a brand new pattern. It's called a Clear Choice Mayfly. This one's going to be one of our best crossover patterns. You can fish it deep on the substrate. You can fish it as an emerger. It's just super buggy. That's the Clear Choice Mayfly, like I said. And then we've got a Black Thunder emerger with that flashover wing, and that will be a great blue-winged olive emerger pattern for you throughout the spring season. The Batwing emerger, that is one of our tried and trues and has been a great producer for 30 years on the Arkansas River. That'll be a number 1 or number 2 emerger pattern for you. And then just want to show you, of course, some midge patterns because they will still be in play, but they'll be kind of phasing out as we start to see more focus on the blue-winged olives. This is a pale ale midge here. This is Juan Ramirez's pale ale midge in red. And then I'm glad I grabbed the magnetic tweezers. Those are always, that makes it real fun. And then we've got our top secret midge, which is a great midge larva or midge emerger, midge pupa. That'll be a really, really strong fly for you in the midge category. And then moving into blue-winged olive adults. So we've got these hot spot comparadons. I've got one in purple and one in Baetis, or more of a light olive color. I like purple a lot in the dry fly category throughout the spring, so I wanted to show that one. But these are our newer patterns and so visible, easy to see on the water. And with that little hot spot in the butt there at the tail, kind of sets it apart from the natural and sometimes gets a good reaction out of the fish. Wanted to show you a sprout midge. Those are obviously, you're going to see midges hatching throughout the spring, and if you see fish keyed to them, that's a good pattern to have on the surface. And then just a preview of some caddis patterns as we start to move into that window of time. The pint caddis, and then the mimic caddis here, and then the resting caddis. So you'll see I like a lot of dark bodies for that Brachycentrus occidentalis. They're anywhere from a dark olive to a black coloration, and I do like black during those sunny days, and that's typically when we're going to see those bigger caddis hatches. I can see that black really easily on those sunny days. The mimic caddis is a great hatch matcher, great spent caddis, good crossover. Okay, but we've got over 50 different types of caddis dries here at the fly shop, so if you stop by on your way up, we can certainly let you know what's been fishing best over the last little bit as we get into the caddis season. In the streamer category, you'll notice that I've got some big stuff and I've got some leech patterns here. What I like to do, sometimes I'll run a leech as a lead fly or a point fly in a nymphing rig during this window of time and through the spring. Fish will be opportunistic, on those guys throughout the spring. But I can also run this leech below as a trailer underneath one of these bigger streamers, under one of these doubles. The doubles that I've got spotlighted here, I've got mini sex dungeon in both black and olive. That's Kelly Gallup's pattern. And then another one of Kelly's patterns. This is a peanut envy. And you'll notice 2 hooks. So these are doubles, right? That cuts down on those short strikes, typically seals the deal, so to speak. When a fish eats it, it's pretty much over. But I've got a light speed leech, which is Phil Torellia's pattern, a newer pattern that we really are going to be very successful with on all of our drainages this year. And then Landon Mayer's mini leech in black. So there's a lot of patterns there for you to consider, but thought I would show you kind of what is key during this window of time, being the stoneflies, cranefly larvae, blue-winged olive, nymphs, emergers, and dries, and of course your caddis larvae, specifically right now, and case caddis, and then upcoming soon, your caddis pupa and caddis adults. Hopefully this will help you prepare for your day on the water if you're a tyer, and of course, if you come in the fly shop, give you a little idea of what you're looking for in the bins. Alrighty folks, so hopefully a look at those patterns will give you a leg up as you prepare for your day on the water here on the Arkansas River Freestone. Again, those are all available here in the fly shop via mail order or online at RoyalGorgeAnglers.com, and we very much appreciate your support there. We're celebrating our 33rd year in business this year, which is really It's hard to believe, but the one thing that is for certain is that we couldn't do it without all of your support throughout the years. Specialty fly shops, are few and far between, especially those that have lasted more than 30 years. So thank you so much for the support there, whether it be flies, rod and tackle, waders boots, any of that jazz. We're always so pleased to help you with your gear and fly purchases, and that's what we're here for. So thanks so much there. We look forward to a phenomenal spring season, but also a phenomenal season in its entirety. Like I said, snowpack sitting around 85% on the Arkansas River Basin here as of today. We'll probably be sub 100%, sub average on our snowpack, but we've got great import water from the other side of the Continental Divide. We should have very consistent conditions throughout the summer and good water to release from Twin Lakes and Clear Creek reservoirs during those hot months in the summer to keep the river in great shape throughout the season. We're really so fortunate to have our voluntary flow management program on the Arkansas River, which truly focuses on the health of the fishery and really sets the stage for what is now the longest gold medal river in North America. That is truly one of the key components, is water, obviously. So should have a phenomenal season out there, and some great opportunities for both the wade and float angler throughout the season, but especially here in the spring. Really, we've got some of the best weeks ahead of us here in late March, April, and early May that we have all year for consistent fishing throughout the day, long days of fishing. The spring season is where it's at, the spring and the fall. So come out and enjoy. If you've not taken advantage of a guided trip with one of our fantastic Orvis endorsed guides, I highly recommend it. We do have very limited availability through the spring. We are about as busy as we've ever been, especially through the month of April and early May. However, we do have some windows we could work you in, and boy, if you're looking to take your skill set to the next level on this river or the South Platte or the Arkansas tailwater, our guides are just phenomenal instructors. They've been doing it a long time, and they will really give you a great day, a great experience out on the water, and hopefully you will end up with a much higher skill set when you leave the day. That's what it's all about. So highly recommend you take a peek at that. All of our options are on our website at RoyalGorgeAnglers.com. On top of that, we've got some phenomenal and very inexpensive streamside clinics throughout the spring and summer season into the fall already. We've got guys like Pat Dorsey and Landon Mayer. We've got Juan Ramirez tomorrow. And so guys like that through the spring season coming out to do specific streamside clinics, and again, for very nominal fee, you can get out there in a group setting and really advance your skill set. Hopefully those will be very useful to you. I know they've been so popular. Those are pre-booking type of clinics, so you would need to book your spot in advance. You can see all of those on our events calendar on our website at RoyalGorgeAnglers.com. But again, we do have Pat Dorsey and Landon Mayer coming up in the next several months. And so those are some heavy hitters, some of the best in the industry, and something to take advantage of for certain. If you have any questions as you prepare for your day on the water, we're always here to help. You can call us toll free 888-994-6743. You can chat with us on our website. We've got a chat line there. You can email us at info@RoyalGorgeAnglers.com. We're here to make your day or your week on the water, whatever it may be, much more enjoyable and more productive. And of course, if you have any gear needs, we're here to help you as well with all the major brands. And we look forward to seeing you in the fly shop or on the water soon. Have a great day out on the water, and thanks so much for viewing today.